Hi, everybody. It is Monday, May 30th, and I'm going to try to do a situation update. It was clear to me in my waking sort of in the first thing in the morning. I was mulling over in my mind what I was going to say to try to give a good update. Um, but it's difficult to put into words, so I'm going to try to simplify things as best I can to kind of explain the situation that we're in right now. I mean, it's a good update because we're winning this battle against being kidnapped in a sense. The human uh, psyche, basically, our avatars are being hijacked and kidnapped and used to for nefarious reasons. Okay, that's I'll just say that right off the bat. So, um, I don't know how to explain this exactly, but okay, I'm just going to summarize. Obviously, we're pure energy beings. We choose to incarnate into physical realities to understand duality. Because normally all these systems are based on, I mean, I'm talking about these lower density worlds that we inhabit. They they have a duality nature to them. It's basically a yin and yang, and it's supposed to be in balance. It's supposed to be action reaction, you know, something we do, uh, and then there's consequences for our actions. It's these are in a sense learning and experiencing modules. You know, if I could explain it that way. So it's like a giant classroom that we all inhabit, and we work out all these possibilities, and this is where what we inhabit these realities to. It's constantly sort of like watching 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 ourselves and judging ourselves how we react and things like that. It's it's always been like the ultimate goal is to try to make sure that we're uh, on a moral you know trajectory, sort of like, in other words, we want to make sure under so many different circumstances that we try to do the correct kind of moral uh, decisions. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain because that's kind of our nature. We want things to be positive, but as you can imagine, I mean, this is the basic gist of these levels: is unless you have a negative, like the yin and yang, unless there's a negative thing, you can't tell how positive something is. So in other words, positive all by itself is not positive. You need to compare it to something. So you need something. So in other words, when things go wrong, that's how you can tell when things go right. I'm trying to simplify it, but anyway. So that's why we come in here. So the problem with this particular module, or these planets that they're inhabiting in this galaxy and universe, they've been hacked by negative entities that we are still a part of, but they're taking it too far. So it was the yin and yang. The negative energies are just overwhelming the positive. So it was just too. There's no balance. That's what we're trying to do, is balance it off again. The balance is tipped in their favor, or it was. So we're taking it back now. Outside of these realities, there's no streaming time. Time is only a physical concept. So um, there is a bunch of higher density beings that have come here to help steer and correct this matrix uh, to a positive, more positive kind of timeline, or positive energy. sort of. No, it's come to bring it balance again, try to put it back in balance. And but the problem is these worlds that we inhabit are also a free will matrix, which means we can't interfere with free will. So there's kind of like laws, checks and balances. So we can only try to influence it as best we can, to try to coax it or whatever. The negative entities, however, don't play by those rules. They just force themselves, and that's why they have had a big stronghold in these worlds, because they're yeah, they've gone too far. It's way too negative. They found ways of getting a lot of extra power through fear and things like that. It's kind of a long story. So, as far as the situation update is, these the beings that have come to help now, we have. I know because I'm one of them. Is, whether you call them star seeds or light workers and things like that, we're kind of privy to what's really going on, like the bigger picture. We've come to try to help fix things, but like I said, we can't force things. We can't force our. So all we can do is, in a sense, make decisions, or suggestions. That's kind of one of the problems, is because we're inhabiting these physical bodies. The computer, our physical computer inside of our head, our brain, is kind of the filter we try to make a lot of these decisions with, but it's flawed. It's a biological computer. It can be hacked. It can be influenced chemically. It can be influenced etherically. It can be influenced with electromagnetic waves. So it can be messed with. And the people that have hacked this system, or in a sense hijacked us or kidnapped us, know how to do this all too well. So this is kind of what we're fighting against. We're trying to stop them from this constant hypnotic brainwashing that is convincing us all to these physical bodies anyway, they're to fall in line. Basically, they're trying to control us, because the energy that they're getting from us is what they're surviving on. So in order to stop them from feeding on us, sort of, like I said, this is kind of a complex story, I'm trying to simplify it, is to shut that down. So it's kind of our job, the people that have come here to help, is try to. That's why it's kind of like the Great Awakening. First of all, if you don't know you're being played, you got to wake up to that. You got to wake up to, like, you're being manipulated. You're being used. You know what I mean? So human beings don't know that, and as you can imagine, they don't want us to find that out. So they've gone to great lengths to hide what's really going on, and they really excel at distractions. They have lots of ways of distracting us. They know the nature of these physical avatars really, really well. They know how to hack into them. And so it's a hard thing to break out of, but incarnating into a physical body again, like I've done this several times, I understand kind of the pitfalls, and I know what to try to stay away from to keep my mind clear, which is just my physical computer, because it kind of is what runs our physical bodies as well. So we have to understand that. But what's really controlling us is from outside. It's our etherical, you call it our higher self, or higher being, or whatever. We're connected to that, and that's kind of what really kind of drives these physical bodies, is that connection. And so it's like you got to try to connect with your higher self all the time. It's really, really difficult. So because these physical bodies have got free will, so that's part of the part of the learning experience. That's part of why we kind of do this, is because it's like an out of control situation, and it's the learning experience is just try to steer it, and that's really in a sense kind of what we're all learning here. But again, going back, this place got hacked. It's way way more difficult than normal. So that's why we've realized, uh, call it light workers or star seeds or something. So we've come in to try to help that, but again, we can't interfere with free will. So that's what makes it more difficult to try to help out. Uh, so uh, so where we're at right now is we've been working on freeing Earth from the outside, basically taking out negative entities or negative ETs. You can call it that too, because really, in a sense, that's what's going on as well. And then, as far as boots on the ground, we're the ones that are incarnated into physical bodies, and we're trying to fight it on the actual surface of Earth as well, from the human perspective. So we're trying to help wake people up. But again, it's a really delicate, difficult job, because you can't just yell at them. It's like, hey, you're being brainwashed, whatever. Stop listening to this, whatever. We're trying to coax them from a human nature perspective. Like I know what people want to hear as well, or want to see as an example, because it's almost like you have to lead by example too. It's like, okay, I stopped watching TV almost 8 years ago now, because I'm starting to realize, I was not starting to realize, but I'm more connected with my higher self, and they've been kind of giving me heads up on a lot of stuff that's going on. So they're saying, watch out for this, don't do that. They're filling out the story of what's going on, as well as how to fight against it, sort of. Now the problem is most people still to this day don't realize they're being played and kidnapped. Why? Because there's mental inhibitors that they're using. They are using tech. It's like kind of like a brainwave or microwave through things like the TV, your iPhones, like all this stuff. We're being constantly bombarded by these radio waves that are affecting our physical brain, our physical avatar. And as you know, our physical brains are kind of what we listen to a lot. It's like, if I'm hungry, I'm going to eat, and if I'm cold, I'm going to get a coat on. So it's the loudest uh, information that we get is from our brains. Like that's the intake of all the information. Our sensory perceptions are based on our physical reality, unfortunately. And what's going on is more in an energetic or etheric world. Is kind of, it's going on at the same time, but we're just not aware of it. So, like, I'm trying to simplify this and give you an update. Is because our universe is also on cycles, just like we are on Earth with the summer, spring, fall, winter. We're going through a cycle where it's coming to an end of this cycle, and our controllers that have been controlling us, the negative entities, they know it. They know that this is coming to an end. They can only control us for a certain length of time, and then it's almost like this place gets rebooted again. And kind of what's happening is, man, there's so much going on, is we are moving to a higher frequency or higher density. And what I mean by we is, normally the planets do that kind of on their own, and it is rare that uh, humans or other any entities go through the transition at the same time. Usually, we do it separately. We'll, we'll physically, or sorry, spiritually, we'll ascend, and then the the Earth or the planets that we learn on, they ascend at different times in different ways. But we're all doing it at the same time now. So like Earth is shifting to a higher frequency, and we're all going with it. And by doing this, our controllers know that they're losing their energy, in a sense, their food source, because we're all leaving them. We're so they and they knew that this was coming. Obviously, millions of years ago or whatever. They've been doing this cycle over and over and over again. Is and they've been getting away with it because we haven't been able to break out of this cycle. So we're here now, and we're breaking free of them because we're all moving up. But still, the human psyche of our avatars on Earth still kind of don't know what's going on. They still, I mean, this is happening anyway, so it just seems like just weird things are going on. We're going through changes, and we're sort of getting out of this negative energy, and we're getting out of it. So, and like the good news is we and there's, I was going to say hundreds of thousands, but there's probably millions of light workers and starseeds that have tried this before, and we failed in the past. We've done this several times, and now we know what it took, or what it's going to take, basically what it took, to get out of this. So we're at that stage now where we're breaking free. It's working. It's not easy, but we're near the end of us breaking free from the hold of the negative entities that have been keeping us down, feeding on us, feeding on our energy. It's like, in a sense, like energy vampires, sort of like that. They know how to manipulate us and how to get our energy really low, because that's what they survive on. It's this low frequency, fear type of energy. That's what they're getting from us. But we're positive energies, and we're breaking free from them. We're getting out of this, and it's like I said, it's working. So that's the good news. But so as far as the update is concerned, yeah, we're at the stage where we've been fighting this from outside as well as from boots on the ground, and we're merging together these forces to break us free from this situation that we're in. Anyway, that's kind of the situation update. That's what I'm explaining, and I'm doing it more in a vague way rather than specifics, as in saying, there's a war in Ukraine, and the politics are going here, and that's the physical manifestations of kind of what we're going through, and as you know, because we've been living on a slavery planet, a lot of the way we understand life down here is from the physical perspective only. So we're like, we don't understand change unless we see it physically. We don't understand when things are going good in the spiritual world or bad. We don't know when we're being played, and we also don't know when things are going good, sort of. We only notice them when they physically show some sort of physical proof of that. So, and that's coming. It's, if we notice, there's a lot more things being corrected, sort of. So anyway, I guess in a sense, what I'm trying to say is, the good news is I was going to say we've won, which we in a sense have, and we're on a trajectory or a timeline that's positive no matter what. They can't they can't stop it now. It's way past the tipping point as far as positive energy. So that's the good part. So we're just going through the final sort of growing pains, or just escape plans to get out of the situation. So anyway, that's kind of a situation update. Hopefully that makes sense. I wished I could explain it a lot longer and a lot more details, you guys, but I'll have to just do that in the future more. Okay, that's my update for the end of May. Talk to you later. Goodbye.